Have you ever felt like life knocked you down in a way that seemed impossible to recover from? Have you faced days when everything around you seemed to fall apart and your dreams seem farther and farther away? That feeling of being at rock bottom is something many of us have experienced, and that's exactly what makes Neale Donald Walsch's story of overcoming adversity so powerful and inspiring. In this video, we will dive into the journey of a man who faced life's toughest challenges, from financial ruin to a deep sense of hopelessness. Neale found himself homeless, living on the streets with a pile of failures and a heart full of doubts. But despite all of that, he found a way to transform his pain into purpose and his struggle into a legacy that inspires millions around the world. And the most amazing part? The principles that guided Neale Donald Walsch's transformation are the same ones anyone can apply in their own life. No matter where you are now or what you're facing, you can overcome difficulties and build a life of success, purpose, and fulfillment. Neale's journey is proof that even in the darkest moments, there is a light within us that can guide us towards something greater. And in this video, you'll discover how he used the fundamentals of the law of attraction to create his new reality, achieving the success that once seemed impossible. So get ready to be inspired, and more importantly, learn how you too can use these same tools to transform your life. If Neale Donald Walsch could rise from the streets and become one of the greatest writers of all time, why couldn't you? The secret is closer than you think. Are you ready to transform your life with the law of attraction? So start now. Visualize what you truly want and take the first step towards a life of abundance and purpose. Remember, the universe responds to your energy. Neale Donald Walsch was born on September 10th, 1943, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in the United States. From a young age, he showed a keen interest in spirituality, philosophy, and matters beyond what could be seen and touched. However, his journey to becoming one of the most renowned writers and speakers of modern spirituality was marked by overwhelming adversity, moments of doubt, and seemingly insurmountable challenges. Growing up in a Catholic family, Neale had an early relationship with spirituality that would later be deeply questioned and redefined. From an early age, he felt that the answers to life's big questions were within his reach, but his search for clarity and purpose was often frustrated by traditional dogmas. In his youth, Neale experienced a desire to communicate and inspire others. He got involved with radio and communication, believing this was his purpose. For a while, his career seemed promising, but life had other plans for him. Despite his enthusiasm and talent, Neale faced a series of professional and personal setbacks that led him to a state of complete desolation. Divorces, financial difficulties, and a series of unstable jobs began to erode his self-confidence. He eventually found himself without money, without stable employment, and eventually without a place to live. During one of the darkest moments of his life, Neale found himself living in a park with a tent as shelter, begging for food. He felt as though he had reached rock bottom, consumed by failure and the sense that everything he had dreamed of had fallen apart. During this period, Neale even questioned the value of his own existence, wondering why things had gone so wrong. It was in this state of complete vulnerability that Neale experienced a moment of profound transformation. During a night of despair, he wrote an angry and frustrated letter to God, expressing all of his pain, questions, and grievances. To his surprise, he felt that he received an answer. Words flowed from his pen as if coming from a greater source, and he began recording a dialogue that would transform into something extraordinary. This was the beginning of Conversations with God, a series of books that would not only revolutionize his life, but also inspire millions of people around the world. Through these dialogues, Neale found answers to life's deepest questions and began sharing these messages with the world. When Conversations with God was first published in 1995, it quickly became an international bestseller, translated into dozens of languages and touching the hearts of readers all around the world. What started as a simple notebook in a moment of despair became a source of inspiration for people from different cultures and religions. Neale not only found his personal redemption, but also a greater purpose. He became a sought-after speaker, sharing his message that we all have access to a higher power within us, and that we can transform our lives by reconnecting with that source. Neale Donald Walsch's story is not just one of overcoming adversity, but also a powerful reminder that adversity can be the catalyst for extraordinary transformation. He teaches us that even when everything seems lost, we can still find a path to the light. Today, Neil continues to write, speak, and inspire millions with his message of hope, purpose, and spiritual connection. His life is a living proof that hitting rock bottom is not the end, but can be the beginning of something truly great. Neil Donald Walsch's journey from being homeless to becoming one of the greatest authors and spiritual speakers in the world is a story that resonates deeply with all of us. It reminds us that the answers we seek are not outside of us, but within, waiting to be discovered. And that even in the darkest moments, the light of our purpose can shine, guiding us to a life of fulfillment and success. Don't let your limitations and fears hold you back from achieving what you deserve. Join our community and subscribe to this channel to learn how the law of attraction can transform your reality. But stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you is what, combined with the law of attraction, completely changed Neil's life. And it can change yours too. Neil Donald Walsch's journey is a living example of how the power of the present moment can completely transform a life. Just as Eckhart Tolle describes in The Power of Now, Neil's suffering stemmed from his disconnection with the present. He was trapped in thoughts about the past, lamenting his mistakes and failures, and fearing a future that seemed hopeless. For many years, his life was a cycle of difficulties, marked by losses, frustrations, and a deep sense of worthlessness. However, everything changed when he began to realize that the key to his transformation was something he had always had at his disposal: the now. Neil went through moments of despair that anyone could recognize. He faced rejections, financial frustrations, and even periods when he had no roof to call his own. It's a situation many can understand, looking at one's problems and feeling that they are insurmountable. But it was precisely at this point that Neil found what Eckhart Tolle teaches as the essence of awakening: to completely accept the present moment as it is. It was when Neil stopped fighting against reality and began to live in the present that his life started to change. When Neil wrote that venting letter to God, he was, in fact, practicing one of the deepest principles of the power of now: surrender to the present moment. He let go of resistance, stopped blaming the past and fearing the future, and opened himself to listen. It was in this state of presence that he received the messages that would transform not only his life, but the lives of millions of people around the world. He was no longer lost in thoughts of self-pity or anxiety. He was there, in that moment, allowing wisdom to flow through him. Neil's story is proof that, as Tolle writes, now is all we have. When Neil chose to surrender to the present, he discovered a new way of living. He stopped being a man defeated by circumstances and became someone who lived in alignment with his true essence. This same alignment is what allowed him to become one of the greatest spiritual authors of our time. He began to see that suffering comes from resisting the present moment, and that freedom comes from accepting it. What makes this connection even more powerful is that the challenges Neil faced are common to all of us. Who has never felt trapped by regrets from the past or consumed by worry about the future? Who hasn't looked at their own difficulties and thought, "Why is this happening to me?" But Neil's story and Tolle's teachings show that it is possible to break free from this cycle. It all begins with the practice of presence. It doesn't matter where you are now, at rock bottom, facing difficulties in your career or personal life. The power to change is in the same place where Neil found it: in the now. This transformation didn't happen overnight. As Tolle explains, it takes practice to live fully in the present. But it is this practice that brings peace, clarity, and, eventually, the opening to receive what you most desire. For Neil, it was the writing of conversations with God. For you, it may be the beginning of a new chapter in your life. What matters is understanding that everything you seek, peace, happiness, success, starts with your willingness to be present, to leave the past behind, and to trust that the now contains everything you need. Neil Donald Walsch proved that it is possible to transform a life of pain into an existence of purpose and success. And so can you. No matter what your current circumstances are, remember what he teaches us, echoing the principles of the power of now. You are not the stories in your mind. You are the space in which everything happens. If Neil could rise from rock bottom and achieve extraordinary success, so can you. It all begins with a choice: to be present and allow the now to be the foundation of an extraordinary life. This book is truly valuable and powerful. As you can see, it teaches all the principles that transformed Neil's life and can transform yours too. The lessons I've shared here are just small fragments of everything it has to offer. Remember, to change your life, you need to take that first step. Perhaps this book is your starting point. I'm leaving the link for you to purchase it on Amazon in the description and in the pinned comment. But anyway, did you see how Neil Donald Walsch's journey was full of obstacles and overcoming before he finally achieved success? In summary, the main lessons and takeaways we can apply from his story to your own life are: acceptance of the present as the starting point. Neil Donald Walsch faced great adversity, but his transformation began when he stopped fighting against reality and accepted the present moment. This acceptance allowed him to see opportunities where there was once only despair. For anyone, accepting the now is the first step to overcoming challenges and opening the way to new possibilities. Ask and you shall receive. Neil's famous letter to God was an act of surrender and trust in the universe, reflecting one of the central principles of the law of attraction. When you ask sincere questions and seek answers with clear intention, the universe responds. The practice of verbalizing your desires and doubts can open doors to new ideas and unexpected solutions. The power of rewriting your stories. Neil learned that his life was not defined by the stories of failure or suffering he carried. By changing his internal narrative, he transformed his beliefs about himself and began attracting experiences aligned with his new vision of life. This teaches that anyone can rewrite the stories they tell themselves, replacing limitations with possibilities. The importance of following intuition. When Neil began to listen to the voice that inspired him to write Conversations with God, he trusted his intuition, even without guarantees of where it would lead. Intuition is a powerful tool to guide decisions and paths, especially when you learn to listen to it and follow it with confidence. The conscious creation of your future. Neil demonstrated that we are co-creators of our reality. His teachings emphasize that the thoughts and feelings we cultivate daily shape our future. Anyone can use this principle by focusing on what they want to manifest, keeping a clear vision and positive feelings aligned with their goals. Apply these lessons to your everyday life. Take the first step and read the book with the lessons that were so important for Neil, The Power of Now. And also subscribe to this channel, where you'll always find the best inspirational stories that will help you see your life changing step by step, leading you to success. Remember, the power of transformation is within you. You just need to make the decision, take the first step, and start believing. I'm leaving a link here for you to watch another inspiring video with a message you need: The Overcoming and Success Story of Bob Proctor. Click on the video. I'm waiting for you there.